We're going to look at an aspect of country life now, which was written about a lot, all sorts of stories about it. But it's the life of poachers and gamekeepers, two sides of one activity. The poachers were desperate to get something to eat, and the gamekeepers were desperate to look after their stocks, their livestock, and it was just to keep these chaps away. They had some very cruel ways of doing this. I mean, man traps and gun traps were the rule of the day. But then they were actually allowed to shoot poachers. And that carried on until a bill was brought in Parliament in 1827. It was called the Engines of Destruction Bill. And they were trying to get these guns banned. This gun here is one of them that they used to have. What we have is a mechanism from a flintlock from a musket. You can see the various parts. There's a flint in there, gunpowder in the little dish, and the metal for the flint to hit against to make a spark. And that would ignite the gunpowder in the whole chamber. I think that probably was the only thing in the poacher's favour, as if it was a very, very wet day. It might be not so easy to get this one going. They didn't shoot bullets. They shot masses of jagged metal, so it went all over the fellow. This mechanism has been adapted. It's been put on a block of wood, and they've added a rod along the bottom. A rod and a ring with three smaller rings on it. That meant he could have 3 tripwires on one path. Now, the idea of this was that whichever string the poacher touched first, it would swing the gun in his direction and shoot. And as it might have killed him, it might just have maimed him. Along with these, they had man traps. Some of the traps were so heavy, it took 2 men to carry them. Similar traps were used for catching bears in Canada and lions in Africa. The jaws of those would meet at thigh level, and they just broke a thigh. The bill that was brought out prevented the use of them outside, it said. So presumably that meant you could use them within your premises or within your buildings or farm. The other thing that the gamekeepers had, they had these things which are known as swingles. So if they got into combat with a poacher, gamekeeper had this swingle. That's full of lead, and it doesn't take much of a swing for that to have a very nasty blow. They're sometimes mixed up with life preservers. These are swingles. Life preservers were a solid truncheon, more like a policeman's truncheon. There's one here which has another little feature. I mean, if the poacher's been attacked with this, he's going to try and grab that if he can. Well, at the end of this one, we see here, at the bottom of the handle, a little spikes. So you've only got to push that into his hand and twist it, and he would very, very soon let go. Anyhow, that was life for poachers and gamekeepers. The poachers had nothing on their side other than their skill, and their necessity to find something to eat was driving them. Yeah.